So far, 2023 has been a great year for games. From cozy indies to the expansive worlds of well-known franchises, some of this year's releases have managed to capture our hearts and entertain us for hours. However, out of all game genres out there, it seems like open-world titles are usually under the most scrutiny. There's a lot of pressure on developers when making such a big game, as fans expect a lot. Welcome to HotFix Gaming, I'm Joy. Today, we're looking at the 9 best open-world games released so far in 2023. Our list is based on the Metacritic user score because, after all, while it's important for critics to give their seal of approval, at the end of the day, it's the gamers who dictate whether a title will be successful or not. So with that being said, let's get started. Number 9. Sons of the Forest. While Sons of the Forest is expected to release sometime between August and October 2023, the game has been in early access since February. The sequel to the 28 game called The Forest, this survival title puts you in control of a character that's stranded on an island full of cannibals. You can build weapons and buildings to ensure your survival and get acquainted with some of the NPCs like Kelvin, who's deaf and communicates with you through written notes, or Virginia, a 3-legged and 3-armed woman. Yeah, you heard that right. With a map 4 times bigger and more detailed than the original when it was first released for early access, Sons of the Forest came with a complete storyline, but still had some work to be done and more content to be added. For example, combat and difficulty has intensified, but this buff also applies to players. The initial challenge of establishing a secure base and gathering gear gradually evens out. New vehicles like motor vehicles and hang gliders differ significantly from the prequel. The building mechanics in the game are still the same slow process, but the new updates offer a lot more variety and utility when it comes to buildings. There have also been many new styles of traps added for players to use against both intruders and wildlife, which makes building all the more worthwhile despite how slow it can be. Sons of the Forest is currently out only on PC, and it's yet unclear which platforms it'll be released on later. Number 8. Atlas Fallen. Released on the 10th of August, Atlas Fallen is an action role-playing game with a beautifully crafted open world and interesting lore. But according to players, that's about it. While reviews are mixed, the consensus is that Atlas Fallen's character building and combat are good and the world is worth exploring. The story of the game involves an evil sun god named Thelos, who has enslaved a portion of humanity, the Unnamed, and forced them to mine essence for him. In order to keep the Unnamed in line, Thelos has bands of wraiths patrolling the lands. You get to play the role of one of the Unnamed, often referred to as the Gauntlet Bearer. You go from being a slave to finding a magic gauntlet that's housing a god named Niall, to then becoming one of the most revered people in Atlas. From an open-world game perspective, Atlas Fallen does deliver a lot of stunning vistas and interesting world building and aesthetics that are worth seeing. But we're not entirely sure if that thing alone is going to be enough. Number 7. Street Fighter 6. Released on the 2nd of June, Street Fighter 6, albeit being primarily a fighting game, has an open-world element to it, so it's made its way onto our list. This new game from the Street Fighter franchise has 3 game modes: Fighting Ground, Battle Hub, and World Tour. Fighting Ground has local and online versus battles, as well as training and arcade modes. Battle Hub acts as an online lobby mode where players can compete in ranked or casual matches and participate in special events. And the open-world element of the game, World Tour mode, is a great place for players to explore, after they've created their avatar, of course. Once you've done that, you're free to explore Metro City and face new opponents. Once you get into the city, you can literally challenge anyone you meet on the street to a fight, and in between brawls, you get to do some sightseeing. Number 6. Star Wars Jedi: Survivors. The sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor takes place 5 years after the events of the previous game, and continues the adventure of Cal Kestis. The game was released on the 28th of April for the new generation of consoles and PC. While Survivor is not really open world, it's still far more open than its predecessor. For example, certain planets in the game, such as Kobo and Jeddah, are big open worlds with a huge environment you can freely explore. But since this is a story-based game, you can also expect missions and part of the game to be rather linear. Still, the open-world parts make up for that. For example, Kobo offers plenty of freedom to explore, as it's essentially a home hub world. You even get your own bedroom in the cantina there. As you progress through the story, Cal picks up various new skills on his travels, so while you're free to explore your home hub of Kobo right from the start, there will be a few areas that remain closed off. That is, until you've learned the skills to open them. Number 5. Atomic Heart. Released on the 21st of February, Atomic Heart is at its core a single-player, first-person shooter, but it's more than a simple shooting game. In it, you'll find some RPG aspects like leveling up and upgrading skills. You'll get to craft items, and there's also a looting feature. And most importantly, its world design is one of its most stunning features. The game's open world is ready for you to explore, with plenty of new places to discover. Each place is distinctively created and exudes character, from a large city to a scary research center. The world is full of mysteries, which encourages exploration and discovery. The environment design's attention to detail is genuinely astounding. The game is set in an alternate version of the Soviet Union in the 1950s, when technology had evolved far beyond our comprehension. As a player, you take on the role of a Soviet KGB operative dispatched to examine a secret research center where weird experiments occur. Number 4. Season. A Letter to the Future. While most games about the end of the world are packed with action, sickness, death, and all sorts of hard decisions that players need to make, Season: A Letter to the Future is probably the most chill end-of-the-world game ever. Instead of fighting for your life or searching for ways to survive an impending apocalypse, you're documenting the world as it is, so future generations have a chance to learn about it when it's gone forever. It makes the apocalypse seem almost cozy. Instead of weapons, you're given tools like a recorder, a camera, and a notebook. You move from place to place by riding a cute bike. The idea is to venture to various spots and collect enough material to fill up a section of your notebook. This requires perception. You can record just about anything: a photo of an old tree, the sound of a trickling stream, an old note found tucked away in a drawer. You also meet a handful of characters along the way who will ask you for your help and give you their story in return. Overall, the game is a short, scenic journey through a changing world, and all you have to do is stop and observe it. And while you're at it, why not enjoy the beautiful scenery? Number 3. Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy was released on the 10th of February, really starting the year on a high note. While the story follows completely different characters than the beloved franchise Harry Potter, the magical school of wizardry is still there, waiting for players to explore it. You don't just get to explore Hogwarts, but also the surrounding areas. To be honest, the map of the game is quite impressive, and you'll find side quests and main missions taking you sometimes quite far away from the school. The story of Hogwarts Legacy takes place in the 1800s, way before the action of the Harry Potter books and movies, and even if you're not accustomed to the franchise, you can still play the game as it is beginner-friendly. Hogwarts Legacy, with its open-world adventure, captures all the excitement and wonder of the wizarding world, with its memorable new characters, challenging and nuanced combat, and a wonderfully executed Hogwarts student fantasy that's guaranteed to keep you glued to your controller for dozens of hours. Number 2. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. The sequel to Breath of the Wild, which, by the way, was an amazing game, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom gives us yet again another amazing open world. Launched on the 12th of May, the world of this title is similar to its predecessor, but the Tears of the Kingdom map injects enough new mechanics to make it feel even stronger. Just like Breath of the Wild, in this title you pick what way you want to play the game. While some gamers prefer to follow the narrative, others go about in various ingenious ways, creating all sorts of devices and transportation using Link's new abilities. Tears of the Kingdom might be the only game on our list that actually gives players an open world that feels true to its meaning. The game's abilities to let Link lift any sort of restrictions and let players interact with practically everything they see before them. If they want to scale a mountain off in the distance or build a massive plane, they can. Number 1. Baldur's Gate 3. While the PS5 version will launch on the 6th of September, the PC version of Baldur's Gate 3 was released on the 3rd of August. The game is set in Dungeons & Dragons' official canon setting, and as a medieval fantasy RPG title, it's expected to have an expansive world map, right? Well, to put it simply, the world map is huge. You get a large horizontal slice of the continent of Faerûn, spanning 9 major cities and settlements with a myriad of smaller villages and points of interest scattered in between. There's also a large river running through it. And that's just the main map. Dotted alongside this big chunk of land are also slightly smaller areas that make up the rest of your hero's journey. These are the Nautiloid, a small town-sized flying ship that serves as the game's tutorial area, and the Underdark, a far larger underground area similar to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's depths. Together, these effectively double the size of the game's map. All in all, the world map of Baldur's Gate 3 takes up a decent chunk of the continent, and it's fair to say that it's the size of a country on the larger side of medium. Of course, you might still find areas in this great big world that are closed off, but don't worry. When you've progressed far enough in the story, you will be able to visit them. But overall, Baldur's Gate 3 offers its players an obscene amount of freedom when it comes to exploration. Which of these open-world games have you tried so far this year? What other open-world games that are launching this year are you looking forward to? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video.